I was too lazy to actually write a script for this, so we're just gonna wing it and see what happens. Hello and welcome back to the show you didn't ask for, Ryan's Rundown. I'm your host, Ryan, and today we're going to be giving the rundown on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 13, Episode 12. It's the Nice Girls Roast. As always, this is my disclaimer. I am not a drag artist. I have never done drag. If anybody wants to put me up in drag, please hit me up. I would love to do so. I am simply just a lover of drag, love of the art. I love watching this show. It makes me really happy to talk about it, and I just love sharing my thoughts and opinions about it. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, and with that, let's get into it. So last week, we said goodbye to Tina Burner after she was eliminated by Utica in a lip sync to My Humps by the Black Eyed Peas. So the next day in the workroom, the queens walk in and they have a mini challenge that is reminiscent of season 6, where they had to partner up and they had one person be the body and one person be the legs, and they did like a lip sync kind of number, but this time they were doing makeup tutorials, one person being the face, one person being the arms. I thought these were so funny. This was part of the 10-minute preview that came out on the Wednesday prior to the episode airing, and I literally watched Rose and Candy's little like tutorial like 5 times. It was so funny. They definitely deserved the win, but I think this was just like a fun mini challenge to do. And after the mini challenge, we find out that this week's maxi challenge is the Nice Girls Roast, where the remaining queens will be doing a roast of former Miss Congenialities. We will have Season 9's Valentina, Season 11's Nina West, and Season 12's Heidi N Closet. As the winners of the mini challenge, Rose and Candy get to decide the lineup of the roast, where they actually put themselves in the most difficult positions, Candy being the starter and Rose ending it. I think in the end this really benefited them both because they both ended up doing very well. The thing is, with a comedy lineup, you're gonna be funny no matter where you are, and so if you're not funny, you're not gonna be funny. If you're in the beginning, you're not gonna be funny if you're in the end. So I don't know, I'm glad that they just picked a lineup that they felt benefited everyone. So as I kind of predicted last week, so the edit was really playing to Candy wanting a win. So the thing is, like, when a queen on this show is edited in the confessionals multiple times in an episode saying that this is my week to win, I need to get a win, all those sorts, one of two things is going to happen. They are either going to, one, win that week, or they are going to get eliminated that week. We saw this play out with the week that Denali got eliminated. In the beginning of that episode, she was like edited in a confessional saying that she needed to win that week and she really wanted to win, and then she went home. So I was kind of getting the feeling that Candy was either going to be like really awesome this week or she was going to flop. Rose also got a lot more confessional time than she normally does in an episode, which I think that is one having to do with that she's just doing pretty well and she was one of the top queens this week. And I think that just also has to be with there are like coming down to the number of queens, and to be perfectly honest, we still don't really know Rose, so I'm wondering maybe next week we might get a little bit more storyline there. As far as Got Mick goes, they were really kind of misdirecting us the whole time because they kept showing like Got Mick saying that they don't think they're funny. The roast was the one challenge they did not want to do, and like all this kind of stuff. So you're thinking in your mind, oh gosh, Got Mick is gonna just like totally bomb this challenge, which is totally the opposite of what happened, which I kind of knew that was going to happen because literally Got Mick won the reading challenge and snatch game, so there was no way in my mind that Mick was not going to do well for the roast. And as far as the queens that ended up bombing this roast, Utica is like delusionally confident. Olivia knows that she's not funny particularly and was kind of giving that energy throughout the entire time, but then when asked afterwards how she thought she did, she thought she was really good. So then the delusional confidence came after, and then Symone was just like scared shitless the entire time. It's time for the main stage. Let's get this roast a-cookin'. So first up, we had Candy Muse opening the show. Overall, I thought Candy did really well. I thought she was really funny. There was a ton of jokes that I was like laughing at, and I think she's just very natural up on stage, and she naturally knows how to banter back and forth, and so I think that really played to her advantage. Oh, and I'm just gonna talk about their looks because there was also not a runway. Candy looked great. She really was. She had her waist cinched this episode. She looked amazing. I loved the hair, loved the makeup. I think she looked perfect from head to toe. As far as Symone goes, Symone's roast was not good. Symone definitely got in her head. You can definitely tell that. That was pretty obvious. I don't think it was the worst of the night, but it was pretty bad. But my thing was, this is foreshadowing, I thought that Symone looked amazing, and I really thought that Symone's look should have saved her from being in the bottom two. And so that was something I just didn't understand at all. And after Symone was Utica. It was bad. Oh, it was so uncomfortable to watch. It was so bad to the point that it was funny again. It was funny that it was so bad. It was just like, oh my god, like, there is a way to do a roast very well, and that wasn't it. Also, I forget which one of the judges said that they like loved this look on Utica, and they were like, this is one of my favorite looks this entire season. Am I watching the same show? Next up was Gottmik, the saving grace of this roast, to be perfectly honest. I loved the look, loved the hair, loved the makeup. I think she looked amazing, and she killed it. She is so funny. She's so witty, and I think that she might have had some of the best jokes of the night. She had me laughing the entire time. She is a natural. After Mick was Olivia. This was so bad. I literally had this blanket on while I was watching this, and I literally had to hide under my blanket. I could not watch. It was so bad. It was so cringy, and it was like how Utica's was so bad that it was funny, and it was funny because it was so bad. Olivia's was just straight up just not good and like cringy, and it just made me very uncomfortable. I wasn't a huge fan of like the dress that she was wearing, but like her hair and makeup looked great. She always looks fabulous from like the neck up. From like the neck down, I don't know, I wasn't really feeling it. And last, closing the show, was Rosé. Rosé was great. I don't think we expected any less from Rosé. I'm glad that they pointed out the fact that Rosé was the only one that went up there and did her entire set without any reference cards. I think that just really gives her another point, emphasizes her talent and her wit, and just being a natural performer. The look was not my personal favorite, but I do think that she looked good. I loved the outfit overall. I didn't quite care for the individual pieces, but I got the 80th reference. I think she still looked great. She closed the show really well, and I think she had some funny jokes. So with that being said, our top 3 of the week are Candy, Gottmik, and Rosé. And with only 6 left, that means that if you're not in the top, you're in the bottom. So the bottom queens are Symone, Utica, and Olivia. Now, obviously, this is a pretty like obvious top 3 and bottom 3. Where my issue comes is when we get to the bottom 2. So we go through all of this. Candy wins, no surprise there. Gottmik and Rosé are safe. And then the bottom 2 ends up being Symone and Utica. This is where I have a problem. Symone looked like the Emmy Award that RuPaul is trying to win for longest competition series ever. She looked incredible, and I don't care how bad her set was. I just really think that her look should have saved her and put her safe, and I think that the bottom 2 should have been Utica and Olivia, because I really don't think their looks were anything spectacular, especially at this stage in the competition, and the roasts were just not good. But with that, we have Utica and Symone in the bottom two, lip syncing to No Tears Left to Cry by Ariana Grande, which is a great lip sync song. The music started and I knew that Symone was gonna win. Symone is such a great lip syncer, and this was her moment. She looked amazing. She was just really embodying the song. She felt it, and like the way they were editing it, like they literally were just showing Symone the whole time. Like they barely cut to Utica, and it was pretty obvious. Like I just don't know a world where Utica would have beat Symone in a lip sync. She is the whole package. She is America's Next Drag Superstar. And with that, Utica is the next queen to go, packing her bags back to Utica, Minnesota. Is that where she's from? Minnesota? I think so. I'm trying to remember what I was going to do for my Untucked moment. Now I can't remember. What happened in Untucked? Oh, I remember. Okay, so as far as my Untucked moment of the week goes, I really loved that they had the 3 Miss Congenialities come backstage and get to talk to the contestants a little bit. I think that's always fun, especially I think it means a lot more to the queens when they get the time and the chance to talk to other queens that have actually been through the experience and know exactly what they're going through. I think my favorite moment was when I think it was Valentina asked who in the cast takes the longest to get ready, because Valentina is notorious for taking forever to get ready. And Rosé answered with, oh, she went home first.
I want to know is who's the one that takes the longest to get ready?
She left first.
Seriously.
Long gone.
Which was such a shady dig at Kahmora Hall. We love you, Kahmora. But it was so funny, and like they all laughed because they knew it was true. Just imagine, like, had Kahmora not been eliminated first, some of the amazing looks that we would have gotten on the runway. Like, if you have not checked out her Instagram, she's been posting all of the looks that she was gonna do on the show, and she probably would have had the best looks out of everybody this season. Like, the producers of this show are really trying to off me, because next week's another acting challenge. I don't want any more acting challenges. Stop with the acting challenges. They're not good. So I was thinking about it, and with it being an acting challenge next week, I was thinking back to the acting challenges from the beginning of the season, and all 5 of these queens left did fairly well in their respective acting challenges. So I am very interested to see who is going to end up in the bottom. Again, I really think it's going to be Olivia in the bottom, and I don't know who else could possibly end up in the bottom. Symone's really funny and a really good natural actor. Rosé is a natural performer actor. Gottmik is naturally funny, and Candy is just like Candy. So I don't know who's going to end up in the bottom with Olivia, but it will be interesting to see. We are almost to the finale, which means that there are only a couple episodes of Ryan's Rundown left. Sad times, but you know what? We will persevere. This has been a really good season of Drag Race so far. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm very excited once this all finishes to go back and watch it again and relive it. So that was another riveting episode of Ryan's Rundown. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, comment, share, save, whatever you want to do. All other episodes of Ryan's Rundown and other art and video and fun stuff that I do are on all of my other socials. So hit me up, let's be friends, and until next time, divas, much love.